Yes. Good morning, children. Hope you all are doing good. Okay. After so long time again, we are meeting each other. Hope you all did your periodic assessment well. Okay. So in the last session, what and all the concept we have learned about this chapter, children? We have seen the chapter that is people as resource from your economics, and what and all we have learned. Let us just reglance those concepts. Okay. So can you people recall what are the concepts we have learned? See, the first one it is how to consider people as resource. Okay, uh, children, just reglance how we can be considered the people as a resource. So when we are utilizing or using them for the productive activity, so then will be considered as a resource. Okay, then we can consider human or the people as a resource. And the next one it is economic activities. So we have understood about the difference between economic activities and the non-economic activities. Guys, can you remember that? Yes. Economic activities means the people will be involved in the activities where it will be concerned with the monetary terms. So in return of money, in return of salary, in return of profit, all those things. But coming to the non-economic activity, the activities which will be involved in, yes, it is for the satisfaction or for the self-consumption. Okay, yes, children. So then we have understood about the different, the economic activities has been divided into different sectors. So in that we'll see about the primary sector. Guys, what do you people understood about primary sector? Yes, it is directly related with the natural resources. That is like agriculture, sericulture, those activities will be considered as a primary sector. And the next one it is secondary sector. What do you understood about the secondary sector? Yes, secondary sector is all about the manufacturing sector, that is the production sector. So here what happens, this secondary sector, directly depends on the primary sector for its, the raw materials. Okay. And the next one it is tertiary sector. So tertiary sector, we even call it as a service sector. So what do you understand by service sector, children? Yes, here it is giving the services to the people. It may be like insurance, it may be like a hospitality, tourism, travels, transportation, banking, telecommunication, all this we'll call it as a, the service sector or tertiary sector. And then we have seen about the quality of population depends on how we can be, see that how the population has been, the quality of population has been determined. Okay, in that we have seen the first one, it is education. So education is very much important factor to be considered for the, the betterment or the quality of population. And then what are the problems we are facing and what are the measures we are taking to improve the educational facilities in our country, that also we have seen. That is like Navodaya education, or it may be like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, and then get back to the school schemes, the main, midday meal schemes, all those schemes we have introduced to enhance the education. Okay. And the next one we have seen about health. So how, we know that the quality of population is directly depends on the health of the person. So as we know that if one person is very healthy, then of course we will be taking them or appointing them for the job. Or else what happens? Will not be so active and will not be productive. So that is the reason health is also very much important. Okay. After all these things, and the next important thing, the next important, the quality of population depends on, yes, it is about unemployment we are going to discuss today, and we'll be seeing about types of unemployment, and we'll go for recapitulation. Okay, so in today's class we'll be seeing about unemployment. So how unemployment is affecting the quality of population? How can we see that how it is affecting the, how unemployment is able to decide the quality of the population, that we'll just see today. Okay, yes children. So in this chapter we have seen a story about, yes, Sakal, and the one more boy is Vilas. So see, we have seen about Sakal and Vilas. So there what we have understood children, yes, so Sakal was very much interested about the studies and he studied well. All those things we have seen. So in their home, his father Bhuta was earning for the entire family, and then his mother Sheila was taking care of the entire family, and his sister and brother C2 and G2 were not working. So do you think we can consider them as an unemployed kid? No. Okay. So here there are some criteria to consider to be unemployed. Okay. So how can we consider? The person has to be eligible, that is from 15 to 59 years old, then only we can be considered as a unemployed. Okay, even Sheila will not be considered as a unemployed because she's serving the family. Okay, so that's what here they are telling. What are the criteria to be considered as a unemployed? Because a person should be capable of doing work, but if he is not getting the job, then it is considered as a unemployment. Okay, see children, unemployment occurs when a person is actively searching for job and unable to find. Okay, so guys, once again just remember, unemployment occurs when a person is actively searching for job and unable to find. That means a person is capable of doing work but he is not finding the work to do, then it is considered as a unemployment. Okay, but here in this story C2 G2 is not a they are not capable of working because still they are children. Okay, and his mother Sheila is also be considered as a employed only because she's serving the family. Okay, so there are some criteria to be considered as a unemployed. See here, the workforce population includes people from 15 years to 59 years. Okay, a person, we know that the 14 years it is compulsory education the children has to get, the child has to get. So after that, from 15 years to 59 years old, the people are considered as a workforce population. Okay, so that age criteria, that age gap from 15 to 59 years, people are capable of doing work. So that if they are not working, if they are not getting the proper job, then they'll be considered as a unemployed. Okay, hope you guys understood, right? Yes, children, we'll move to the next point, that is, see, in India we have unemployment in rural and urban areas. So that we know that in India, we can see that the maximum the rural areas only. India is like consists of many villages. So that is the reason we have considered in India unemployment in rural and urban sector also. So that time what happens? Yes, we'll see. In rural areas, what are the kinds of unemployment we can see? In urban areas, what are the different kinds of unemployment we can see? We'll see. So hope you people understood what do you mean by unemployment. Yes or no, children? That means the person is able to work and he is, the person's age is between 15 years to 59 years and he is actively searching for the job, but he is not able to find the job for his potential. So then it is considered as the unemployment. Okay, so in India we can see there are we have this divided into two sectors, that is one into rural areas unemployment and even in the urban area unemployment. Coming to the rural area, what are the methods we can see? See here, in rural areas, that is one, it is seasonal unemployment, and the one more it is disguised unemployment. Guys, Remember, these two are very much important. One, it is seasonal unemployment, and the one more, it is disguised unemployment. So in rural areas we can see these two kinds. One, it is seasonal, and the one more, it is disguised. And the next one, it is in urban areas we can see educated unemployment. Okay, so in urban areas we can see educated unemployment. Okay, the people are educated but they are unable to find the employment or job for their the requirement. That will be considered. Okay, then we'll see in detail about that unemployment. Okay, in rural areas we can see about seasonal unemployment. The name itself is denoting seasonal unemployment. What do you mean by seasonal unemployment, children? So in the rural areas we can see the maximum people. So India is basically an agricultural country. So that time what happened, maximum population, in the first chapter we have seen that the story of village Palampur. So almost 70% of the people are depending on agriculture for their livelihood. Yes or no, children? So that time what happens here? The in agriculture, do you think the whole year the people will be having work or they will be employed? No, because only in the time of harvesting, only in the time of the cutting of those things are yielding, that time only they will be having a more work. Harvesting time or the rainy seasons they will be having more work, but apart from that they'll not be having much work or they'll not be employed. They have to sit idle. Okay, so that situation has been considered as a seasonal unemployment. Okay guys, you people understood, right? Only for the few months of the year they will be working, the remaining months they will be idle. So that is considered as a, yes, seasonal unemployment. Okay, yes children, see here, seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during some months of the year. So that is considered as a seasonal unemployment. Okay, only for the few months they'll be getting the work, but the remaining the few months they'll not be working. So that is it, that situation is considered as a seasonal unemployment. Okay, and the next one, next one, this is very much important, guys, understand, otherwise you'll get confused. Okay, see here, disguised unemployment. What do you mean by disguised unemployment? Yes, disguised unemployment means, for example, in that particular plot you can see the the plot, the people are working here. So for this agricultural plot, it is more than enough to work just a 5 members, if they work, the exact yield they will get. But here we can see the more people are involved. Even though if the more people are involving in this work, the yield or the output will not be more. Okay, guys, understand, in this small plot of the land, only 5 members of workers is more than enough to, sorry, only 5 members of the workers is more than enough to work, but here we can see more than 5 is involved. So that time what happened, the yield will not increase because the labors are more, so let me increase the yield, it will not be. So that situation is considered as a disguised unemployment. See here, when people appear to be employed but actually unemployed, they looks like they are working but it is not. For example, just consider in your family there are 5 members, in your plot the 2 members is more than enough to do the work, but the entire family is involving in that work. But when they are involving more than the 2, do you think the productivity will increase more or the yield will increase more? No. So that situation is considered as a disguised unemployment. but they are involved in the work, so that is the reason they looks like employed, but actually the productivity is not increasing, their actual energy is not utilized. Okay,